You know your talk starts right now, right?
My talk? Like, is this the like I'm supposed? Oh, I'm supposed to give like announcements and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
totally done. Yeah, totally done it. All right, everybody. I was gonna go make oatmeal this morning, but yeah, I guess we're not gonna do that now. Jason and Deb hate oatmeal, and I'm also throwing Dalda in this mix. I got some announcements that is currently covering up my our sponsors.
You're back, hold on.
And announcements code of conduct has been pinned to the announcement channel in Discord. If you haven't gotten on the Discord channel yet, you really should. If you check the email that you received, we had the full breakdown of the Discord channel. And the Discord channel is pretty cool. Let me show you real quick. So if you go into the Discord channel, yeah, go ahead and try that. If you go into the Discord channel, we have a number of different lobbies that exist. So right now, LobbyCon is the equivalent of exactly that. It's just LobbyCon, where people are showing all kinds of really, really fancy gifts and things like that. This is actually pretty cool because this gives us a lot more. This gives us a lot more interaction, and it's not just interaction with us and you, but it's also interaction with each other. So please do me a favor and jump on the Discord channel. Because it's going to work. Now, LobbyCon is just for all kinds of just garbage, where people are just sharing all kinds of different tools, techniques, memes with each other. With the track talks, if you go into the track talks are where you can discuss the track that's happening right now. So at Wild West Hacking Fest, we have track 1 talks, track 2 talks, and we also have the track workshops. And the workshops are kind of like a compressed training. So that's, once again, a place, oh my God, that is a frightening picture. But the track talks are where you can interact with the speaker while they're presenting. I can't vouch for every single presenter actually going into the track talks on Discord, but I know that I liked it quite a bit. And it's also a way for you guys to kind of talk with us and each other about the talks. And I've been noticing already that in Job's talk and in my talk, there was a ton of people that were contributing to the talk while it was happening, and like all kinds of different cool things that they were coming up with, and I like that. It's really, really, really just cool to do that. Now, as with everything, try to be nice, okay, everybody? If you go into the Discord channel and you're a jerk, we're gonna bounce you. And I want to explain a little bit about what being a jerk actually entails. If you disagree with somebody technically, I think you state your point, but if it devolves into personal attacks against those people, we will boot you. Even if I agree with you, like technically if you're correct, it doesn't give you the authorization at all to just be a jackass, okay? So be nice, all right? The other thing that I would ask you to do as you're going through and working with Discord is try to understand the opinion of the person you disagree with. That doesn't mean you have to disagree with them. It just means that you should try to at least understand where they're coming from. And many times what I do if I'm online, if somebody disagrees with me, I try to go forward and say, what you're saying is X, Y, and Z, and then come back and say that Silent Ryan, no, clown memes are not permissible. No clown memes, please. I just shot myself live on the stream, didn't I? Because now it's going to be nothing but clown memes. So with that in mind, I completely lost my train of thought. Now I'm terrified about clown memes. But be nice to people. Try to understand their argument. Don't try to immediately prove them wrong. As soon as you get into an argument, as soon as you argue with people, that's the best way to lose an argument. What else do we have in the code of conduct? It's been pinned to the announcement channel, so it's important. Please review that. Don't be a jerk. We are working on swag conference t-shirts, and we'll be sending out a link asking for your mailing address here in the next couple of days. Bear with us. If I think I can, let me see. I think I can unmute myself in Discord. I don't know if I can turn on my camera in Discord. Apparently not. Okay, well, maybe that didn't work. It's saying I should turn on two-factor authentication. So, all right.
That seems wise.
Yeah, that probably seems like a good idea because we've had time for all of that in the past 5 days. We ain't got time for security. We'll do it live. But so please be willing to give us your address to get you swag. That would be cool. The schedule of the event along with the interactive download program guide is at the Wild West Hackin Fest website. And also it's on the pinned announcement channel, the Discord server. We also want to take a couple of seconds and thank our sponsors. We have Open Security. I keep calling them OpenSec because that's how I've been referring to them for forever, is just OpenSec, but Open Security. They're our platinum sponsor. We got PlexTrack, Red Canary, and Guardian Core for gold, and our silver sponsors are 40 North, Secure Ideas, and Guardians Milton, Scythe, and Farsight. A quick note on our sponsors. I have this handy dandy slide. One of the things I'd like to get across is, by and large, our sponsors are people that have been some of our best friends at Black Hills Information Security. And as I mentioned, a lot of these companies I would genuinely consider to be competitors, but that's okay. In security, you really shouldn't be using the exact same pen testing team every single year. So you should rotate around and check out companies like Open Security as a great company to do stuff with as well. So InGuardians is actually in here, and I want to talk a little bit about InGuardians. InGuardians is probably the grandfather security company to Black Hills Information Security and a wide number of additional security companies, including Secure Ideas. And yeah, Kevin, I'll get to you here in a second. But they are really kind of the foundation for what we decided to be at Black Hills Information Security. And it was always amazing to have a big brother and sister organization that you're constantly trying to look up to. So one of the children of the InGuardians group, it would be CounterHack. That's Ed Scotus's company, CounterHack Challenges. They're the people that do the Holiday Hack Challenge, so check that out. And then also Secure Ideas. Secure Ideas would be one of the babies of InGuardians as well. That's Kevin Johnson and his company. And I don't know if people are aware of this, but it is actually Kevin Johnson's birthday today. So if you could go into the LobbyCon and maybe come up with a cute meme of Kevin Johnson just wishing him the absolute best and happy birthday, or better yet, you can go on Twitter. Go on Twitter right now and wish Kevin Johnson happy birthday, because I know birthdays mean a lot to him and his family. So happy birthday, Kevin. So yeah, there's a lot more sponsors I'll be talking about as the day goes on. I'll be kicking off the talks and getting the presenters, kind of introducing them as we go throughout the day. So please, please, please check out our sponsors. And let me check the rest of my announcements, make sure that I did everything I was supposed to do. I think we did it. All right, we did it, we did it, we did it, yay! All right, so give us a few minutes and then we're gonna get started. We're gonna get Mike Poor in. I'm gonna go get some coffee because I desperately need coffee. Also, you should note that the webcam feature seems to be shut off with GoToWebinar. This could be an indication that maybe GoToWebinar has some issues. So far, the connections and everything seem to be just fine, but I could definitely see GoToWebinar to save bandwidth cutting off the camera feeds from some of their webinars and things of that nature. So I'm having the problem. Jason's having the problem. We'll see if Mike has the problem. But if there's no video coming live from the people that are presenting, that's okay. Big thing is the content. As usual, all the content will be recorded and it will be put up on the internet, on YouTube. So if you miss a talk, it's not that big of a deal. You can always catch it later. The one thing I would request is if you missed a talk and it's not up within the next 15 minutes, please be patient. There is a ton of, there is an absolute ton of work that has to be done in cutting these and turning them into videos that are discrete section, like videos of this talk versus this talk versus this talk. So I'll show my screen. Looks like somebody dropped me as the presenter and then put me back. See if I can.
Hey, with me. Oh, sorry.
Oh my! Oh, it was you. I was gonna blame Larry, but I see that Larry's on. Larry, you can unmute yourself. How you doing, sir? Maybe I can unmute him, and then we can just listen to Larry. Like, what's going on in Larry's office?
Yeah,
Larry,
see, there it goes. I'm good. I couldn't unmute myself.
Oh, we got you covered. We got you covered. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Should also make sure my
Mike's-
webcam is enabled here too.
I don't know if the webcam stuff is working right now.
It does not seem to be.
um,
But that's okay.
Yeah, and it's across the entire platform. We think that GoToWebinar is getting slammed with people working from home. I was kind of hoping I could show everyone kind of the office and what we're working on here today, but looks like the webcam is not going to allow that.
Yeah, John, it was interesting when we did the test call in the green room earlier. It was fine.
Oh yeah, I think, but that's a different webinar platform. Isn't that GoToMeeting, Jason?
No, we're using GoToWebinar. We need to check on this license, and we might have to kill this one and start it again, but we'll see.
Yeah, if we have to do that later on, we can.
Yep.
So Jason, are you by yourself at the house, or are you guys kind of working together at the office, or is Deb over at your place helping out?
Deb is here. We have a command center of all the different streams. We have a green room going with all the, I can't show you, but it's my entire kitchen table is just covered in computers and camera and video and sound equipment. So it's good.
We have the exact same thing here. We should probably take a couple of minutes and talk about the people that are in the background that are making this happen. I mean, people know Jason and myself. We're on all the webcasts for Black Hills Information Security. So you want to talk a little bit about what Deb is doing in the background and how she's helping out?
Yeah, so for all the people who are interested in how a virtual con works, essentially you have to check with all the speakers to make sure that they have working sound and video equipment. And what we've learned over the years is not everyone does. And so if you don't have good audio, then it's not good. You can have bad video, you can have bad slides, but you can't have bad audio. People don't like bad audio. So for the last couple of days, we were testing all the audio, and that's Deb. And anyone that did have bad audio, we Amazoned them, drop shipped new microphones to speakers and presenters and trainers. And she is currently talking to whoever's going to be the next speaker after Mike and Larry to get them ready to go so that it's a seamless transition. So we have 13 minutes until Mike and Larry start. And then after that is nonstop all day with 2 tracks, and then the workshops start. So that's what Deb's doing.
And then here in the office in Spearfish, South Dakota, the team that's helping pull all of this together, we have D-Rock, and D-Rock is kind of our systems administrator, the guy that runs our HTOC services, the cyber range that we're standing up, and that we'll be releasing that probably next week. He's in charge of making all things technical go. And assisting him is Sam Carroll. Sam has been with us for very long. He was a developer on AI Hunter for a long time, and he's helping D-Rock get a lot of our initiatives up and running, but he's hanging out and watching the streams to make sure that they're working okay. And then we also have Rick Wisser, and Rick is a pen tester. And the goal is to make sure that we have some technical people in the kind of the back room that are answering questions, watching the Discord channel, making sure that everything's going good. And then we also have David Fletcher, who's floating around at the virtual conference. Joff Thayer is floating around on the virtual conference. I can't remember who else we have floating around, but there's a lot of BHIS people that took this week off to just support this initiative and make it work on a ground-based perspective. And it was nice to have them set up so that they can work remotely from home to be able to get these things kicked off as well. So that's kind of the background team. I would say that Jason and I aren't doing anything, but I know that that's not true for Jason's perspective at all. Jason's been really, really, really busy. Of course, he has to be busy because he went on a cruise last week. Jason, did you find out that we decided to cancel the ground-based and go like virtual, like while you were on the cruise ship?
That is a fact, John. I was on a cruise ship, and you had done a webcast that was unscheduled. And then after that, I said, Deb, how was the webcast? And she said it was great. John said that we canceled Wild West Hackin Fest and we're going virtual. And I started to dry heave on that cruise ship. Not from the coronavirus, that now, but that's when I learned about it. And then I got internet at sea. I did. I got the internet at sea to be able to start coordinating some of this last Friday.
Isn't that just HughesNet? I mean, it's satellite, isn't it? Like super laggy, like really slow? Like you click a link and it would take like a second or two to pick it up?
Oh, it was absolutely terrible. I was afraid to open up my email just in case someone had sent me like attachments because I thought it was going to take forever just to get my email.
Yeah, probably a good call at that. But yeah, we made that call, and there was a lot of conversation about taking this thing virtual. And I talked about it last night a little bit, but there was a lot of conversation about taking the whole thing virtual. And I as we've gone further down the rabbit hole, I do not regret at all that decision to take this conference virtual. I think the governor of California today basically told people not to do any large gatherings, cancel events. I think it was over 1,000 people, but it may be less than that. And there's lots of conversations here in South Dakota about whether or not school's going to happen next week. So lots of weird things going on. Damn it, the clowns. I hate you. Goff, you are fired.
But that's a weekly occurrence, isn't it?
So, yeah, it's a weekly occurrence with the clowns. I did have somebody that said that they wanted to be Mike Poor when they grow up. I see Ed Scotus says, I don't ever want to grow up. So a fun story about Ed Scotus and Mike Poor. I've told this story before at different things, but Mike Poor and Ed go back a really, really long time. And I kind of came in the middle of that conversation. And I part of that relationship rather. And I was teaching at San Diego with Ed Scotus. I was a teacher's assistant for Ed, and I can't even remember what year this was. And it was actually the year that Ed Scotus got me drunk and then gave me the Inguardians. 1492. I thought it was January 1st, 1601, Ed. But Ed got me drunk and gave me the Inguardians interview. It was like he was just buying, alcohol, and then finally, whenever I'm good and inebriated, on like this amazing beer that he had, he's like, well, would you like to take the Inguardians interview? I'm like, oh, it seems like a good idea. Well, that next night, he said, I got to meet Mike Poor. You and Mike Poor are going to get along great. You guys got to get together. So I went out to eat with Mike at this Indian restaurant, and I found out that Mike has this intense hatred for cilantro, which I actually hate cilantro too. It was a weird dinner. It was kind of like Mike and I started kind of going at it technically with each other. And Mike was talking about packets, and then I was talking about packets because I was working on some stuff for like kernel level drivers for packet analysis, and we were going back and forth. And Mike kicked my ass. I want to make it very, very, very clear. Mike's knowledge of TCP, IP, and networking just absolutely floored me. But I was young and stupid and probably drunk at that as well. So I decided I would start crossing swords with Mike Poor. The next night, Ed and I are hanging out, and he's like, "So, what did you think of Mike Poor?" Like, I got to be honest. I think Mike Poor's kind of an asshole. And Ed goes, you know what? I'm like, what? Mike Poor said the exact same thing about you. And you guys are going to be like best friends. And sure as hell, it absolutely turned out that way. Mike is absolutely like a big brother to me. Same with Ed Scotus. I would not have made it at the SANS Institute without those two kind of taking me under the wing and kicking the living hell out of me. And so it was just so super cool to have those guys help me out at SANS Institute. It's kind of hard, I'm kind of done with that whole thing. And then Tom basically says, yeah, he is an a-hole, but that's okay. We all are, right? In some fashion or another. But it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I'm really happy that Mike can be here. He's not talking though. He's on the panel thing, but he's just not saying anything. Larry's here too, and he's all quiet. Are your slides all ready to go, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, very, very, very cool.
Yes, sir. T-5.
All right. So I guess let's open it up to people. Since we have Ed Scotus, Mike Poor, Larry, myself, I'm going to open it up. If anybody that is on the Discord channel, we're going to do Ask Us Anything. You have 5 minutes. We will answer any questions about the SANS Institute and being a SANS instructor. Go ahead and type in your questions, and we will answer. I cannot guarantee you that we will answer truthfully, but we will happy to answer any questions that you have about SANS. Popcorn Dan asked what our shoe size is. I'm about 10.5, 11, depending on the manufacturer. What's the best question you were ever asked? I'm going to throw this one over to Mike. Mike, what was the best question you were ever asked as a SANS instructor?
Why I couldn't get Stephen Northcutt to wear closed-toed shoes.
Really? That was the best question?
No, that was probably one of the most bizarre questions I got asked that I had absolutely nothing to do with. But I think the best question that I was ever asked as a SANS instructor was, we were discussing the behavior that SSH suppresses the urgent flag in TCP communications. If you do like a control C or an interrupt character within a terminal session, typically over TCP, you have an urgent flag that gets posted so that particular interrupt character gets processed faster up the stack. SSH suppresses the urgent flag. The immediate follow-on question to whether it suppressed it or not was why it would do this, right? Now, the theory is that because SSH is over TCP, it does not encrypt the TCP header. If you knew, for example, that a packet with an urgent flag, with an urgent pointer pointing at the data inside that packet that was encrypted, contained a control C, for example, or an interrupt character, you could essentially do a cryptanalysis attack and try to reverse the key. Interesting for me, in that I wasn't thinking that far ahead when, they asked about the urgent flag, and then immediately following it, SSH suppressed the urgent flag or not. Immediately had to fire up an SSH session to a terminal, send an interrupt character, and see that SSH actually suppresses the urgent flag in the TCP stack.
Fantastic. Very, very cool. I've got 2 minutes. I'm going to take the next one, Mike. The best question I ever saw at SANS, and this is one that you remember, we were teaching at, I think it was either SANS Fire or SANS CDI at the Hilton on Connecticut Street. And we were supposed to go out to eat, and we had a whole bunch of friends that were in town. It might have been one of the Honey Pig nights. And Mike was late, and I went down to Mike's room, and he's sitting there with, I can't remember who the other instructor was. There was another instructor that was down there. And then there was these 3 ladies that were just peppering Mike and the other instructor with questions. And what had happened is Mike said, I'm going to stay here as long as you need. Like, if you guys have any questions, because these ladies that basically were in the room, they were basically forced into security. It was a job change for them. And it was kind of a sink or swim scenario. And they were basically just pinging Mike with as many questions as they possibly could. And they wouldn't let Mike leave. And Mike was kind of tired, so I went in and tag teamed. And I took some questions. And then the other instructor's name, I just can't remember who was the other instructor. We were rotating around, and these ladies wouldn't let us leave. I think I was there for another hour. We didn't get out of that room until 7:30. But it was really, really super basic questions, some really deep questions. But the thing that I thought was so cool is they had a firm desire to learn the topic. And Mike was willing to stay in that room to make sure that they got the topic, and then we all got pulled into it. It was just a really cool experience. Found out years later, Mike can tell you exactly where one of them worked, but we found out that one of them actually ended up running an entire security operations center, which was just a really cool thing to find out that stuff pays off.